that same old love. I'm so sick of that same old love. Feels like I've blown up.
What if being famous was the very thing destroying your health? For most of the world, Selena Gomez was the embodiment of youthful charm, a Disney princess turned pop sensation, glowing with success, beauty, and power. But behind the flawless red carpet appearances and chart-topping singles was a young woman battling a cruel, invisible enemy that nearly took her life. Long before fans noticed the subtle signs, sudden weight fluctuations, emotional breakdowns on stage, or cryptic social media posts, Selena was already in a private war. Lupus, an autoimmune disease that slowly attacked her body from the inside, wasn't just weakening her kidneys, it was weakening her will. In silence, she endured chemotherapy, crippling fatigue, and the psychological collapse that followed the relentless pressure to be perfect. But that wasn't the whole story. At the height of her fame, with millions of eyes watching, Selena did something no one expected. She disappeared. No farewell tour, no final Instagram goodbye. Just gone. Rumors swirled. Was it drugs? A mental breakdown? Rehab? What the world didn't see was a hospital room, a donated kidney from a best friend, and a soul trying to claw its way back from despair. This is not a simple story of a celebrity with a medical condition. It's the untold cost of stardom. A story of betrayal by the very system that made her famous. A haunting portrait of a girl who gave everything. Her voice, her youth, her health, just to survive in a world that demanded she shine, even when she was breaking inside. And the question that still lingers, did fame save Selena Gomez or slowly kill her? Selena Marie Gomez was born in Grand Prairie, Texas in 1992, the daughter of a teenage mother who struggled to make ends meet. Her early life was shaped not by privilege, but by perseverance. By the time she was 7, she had already begun acting, landing a role on the children's show Barney and Friends. But the world truly discovered her when Disney cast her as Alex Russo in Wizards of Waverly Place. Selena became a household name almost overnight, her comedic timing and natural charisma earning her a fast-growing fan base. Disney's machine polished her into a pop culture gem. Albums, tours, and brand endorsements followed. She was everywhere. The red carpet, the radio, the cover of fashion magazines. And unlike other child stars who burned out or rebelled, Selena appeared composed, graceful, and professional. To the public, she was the girl who did everything right. But beneath the surface, the cracks had already begun to form. The pressure of being a role model, of maintaining an image that fit Disney's squeaky clean narrative, weighed heavily on her. She was expected to smile even when her world was falling apart, to sing even when her voice trembled with exhaustion. Her teenage years were spent in studios and tour buses, performing not only on stage, but in real life, pretending to be okay when she wasn't. And then came the romance that would define a generation. Selena and Justin Bieber. 2 megastars, one explosive love story. The tabloids couldn't get enough, and neither could the fans. Their relationship, broadcast to the world in real time, oscillated between adoration and chaos. Every breakup and reconciliation was dissected, every cryptic tweet or tearful moment used as tabloid fodder. For Selena, the emotional toll was immense. She wasn't just living her life. She was living it under surveillance. In the midst of this fame storm, her health began to betray her. The signs were subtle at first: fatigue, anxiety, unexplained pain. But the truth was far more sinister than anyone imagined. Selena was suffering from lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease that causes the body to attack itself. It wasn't just her career on the line, it was her life. The public didn't know, not yet. As she pushed through performances, smiled through interviews, and posted filtered photos online, her kidneys were deteriorating. Her mental health was unraveling. Behind the glitter and glam, Selena was a young woman holding herself together with invisible thread. And no one was there to catch her when she started to fall. This was no longer a story about fame. It was becoming a story about survival. The kind of survival that isn't applauded, photographed, or celebrated. The kind that happens quietly in hospital rooms, therapy sessions, and tear-stained hotel bathrooms. The stage was set. The world believed they knew Selena Gomez, the girl next door turned global icon. But what they didn't know was the price she was already paying to be seen, to be loved, to keep going. A price that no fame, no award, no applause could ever repay. Selena Gomez's rise to fame was as dazzling as it was relentless. In an era saturated with fleeting talent and viral fame, she stood out, not just for her beauty or voice, but for something far rarer: relatability. Fans didn't just admire her, they saw themselves in her. A Mexican-American girl from Texas with humble beginnings, raised by a single mom who dared to dream big and made it. After her breakout success on Wizards of Waverly Place, Selena didn't rest. She launched a music career with Selena Gomez in the scene, releasing radio-friendly hits like Naturally and Love You Like a Love Song. She was charming, clean-cut, yet quietly rebellious. The kind of pop star who could transition from Disney darling to mainstream icon without scandal. Or so it seemed. But the entertainment industry doesn't allow innocence to thrive without exploitation. By 2013, Selena was pushing beyond her teen idol image. She starred in the provocative indie film Spring Breakers, a stark departure from her squeaky clean roles. The message was clear: she was growing up and wanted the world to know it. Critics were divided, but Selena was unapologetic. She was no longer just America's sweetheart. She was a woman reclaiming control over her narrative. Yet just as her star rose, the pressure intensified. Her on-again, off-again relationship with Justin Bieber spiraled into a media circus. They were young, in love, and deeply flawed, and every argument, tear, and Instagram unfollow became international news. For millions of fans, their romance was an emotional roller coaster. For Selena, it became a war zone. The emotional weight of their relationship, amplified by global attention and toxic fan wars, began to erode her spirit. Still, she kept performing. She launched her first solo album, Stars Dance, followed by Revival, which featured bold lyrics about self-empowerment and vulnerability. Tracks like Good For You and Hands to Myself showcased a more sensual, mature side of Selena, while Sober and Camouflage hinted at an internal struggle. Her voice had never been stronger or more broken. Then, the rumors began. Sudden tour cancellations, dramatic weight loss, a retreat from the spotlight. Whispers of substance abuse circulated, fueled by the intense scrutiny that follows every female star who dares to slow down. But Selena wasn't partying. She was hiding a devastating truth. The lupus diagnosis, which she had kept private for years, was beginning to manifest in dangerous ways. Her kidneys were failing. The fatigue was unbearable, and the mental toll was quietly crushing her. Despite the worsening illness, Selena attempted to continue touring, giving fans the show they paid for, even when she could barely stand backstage. Her health crisis was no longer ignorable. In 2016, she canceled her Revival World Tour and checked into a mental health facility in Tennessee, citing anxiety, panic attacks, and depression, all symptoms tied to lupus. The public didn't know the full story yet, but cracks were visible. In private, Selena was deteriorating. In public, she was expected to sparkle. The contradiction became too much to bear. She began retreating from red carpets, interviews, and social media. For the first time in her adult life, she was disappearing from the narrative, a silent act of rebellion against the fame that had become a cage. But before she vanished, Selena did something extraordinary. At the 2016 American Music Awards, she took the stage, fragile, trembling, honest, and gave a speech that silenced the room. I had to stop. I had everything, and I was absolutely broken inside. It was the first time the world truly saw her, not as a pop star, not as a headline, but as a human being on the brink. And it wouldn't be the last time she would shatter the illusion that fame equals freedom. Because the storm was only beginning. The worst was yet to come. In 2017, the truth finally came out, not through a press conference or a tabloid expose, but through an Instagram post. One image: Selena Gomez lying in a hospital bed, holding hands with her best friend, Francia Raisa. The caption: calm, grateful, but devastating. She had undergone a kidney transplant. Behind that single image was a saga of physical collapse and emotional devastation that the world had never seen. Lupus, a disease that had quietly stalked her for years, had ravaged her kidneys to the point of failure. Doctors told her that without a transplant, her time was running out. She was just 24 years old. The search for a compatible donor proved fruitless, until Francia, her closest friend, stepped forward and offered her kidney without hesitation. It was supposed to be a miracle, but what followed was anything but. The transplant was complicated. Selena's body reacted violently. In one terrifying moment, the new kidney turned inside her body, breaking an artery. She was rushed into emergency surgery. Doctors had to build a new artery using a vein from her leg. She later admitted that was life or death. Yet the physical pain was nothing compared to what came after. Selena disappeared again. This time, not just from social media, from life. She battled severe depression, isolation, and survivor's guilt. The very friend who saved her life, their bond began to crack under the weight of media attention and emotional exhaustion. Rumors spread of a falling out, fueled by Selena's decision not to speak often about Francia publicly. The press feasted. The internet speculated. Two women, once inseparable, were now estranged. The kindness that saved her became another source of pain. Then came the relapse. In 2018, Selena was admitted to a mental health facility after reportedly suffering an emotional breakdown during a hospital stay related to her low white blood cell count, a side effect of the transplant and lupus medication. She was placed on a 90-day program at a psychiatric center known for its intense therapy and treatment for trauma and addiction. It was the second time she had entered such a facility. She later revealed that she had contemplated suicide more than once. Not because of fame, not because of heartbreak, but because she had become a prisoner in her own body and mind. Publicly, she still smiled, released new music, spoke out about mental health, but fans began noticing the weight fluctuations, the disappearing acts, the haunted look in her eyes during interviews. Social media, once her playground, became a battlefield. She was mocked for her appearance, accused of being lazy, or worse, irrelevant. She later confessed, "I lie in bed and cry. I wake up and cry. I don't want to feel anymore." In 2020, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. That moment, too, she shared with the world, not out of obligation, but out of defiance. She was done hiding. She wasn't just a pop star or a Disney girl or a celebrity with a tragic story. She was a survivor, finally calling out the industry that had fed on her pain and the online culture that had mocked it. But healing isn't linear. The media praised her bravery while still dissecting her weight. Fans celebrated her comeback while still comparing her to an ex-boyfriend's new wife. Every step forward came with a pull backward. In one of her interviews, she reflected, "I've been to 4 treatment centers. I'm not ashamed. I'm tired." Behind the applause, the awards, and the applause was a woman exhausted by being watched. By the world, by her own mind, by an illness that wouldn't let her go. Selena Gomez didn't overdose. She didn't lash out. She didn't vanish forever. But perhaps what makes her story so harrowing is that she stayed, broken, bleeding, and still expected to be beautiful, still expected to sing. And the darkest truth is this. For someone like Selena, surviving wasn't the end of the struggle. It was only the beginning. There is a cruel irony in the way fame promises everything and quietly takes it all back. Selena Gomez is not the first child star to rise fast and fall hard, but hers is not a tale of scandal or self-destruction. It's something far more unsettling. She is a mirror to the audience, to the industry, and to the cost of turning a human being into a product. For decades, we've romanticized the pain of our idols. We celebrate their resilience while ignoring the machine that breaks them in the first place. Selena was marketed as strong before she was even allowed to be fragile. She was praised for being relatable while being forced to conceal her sickness. Her mental health journey, while now a badge of bravery, was once used against her, a reason for clicks, speculation, and memes. The same headlines that applauded her honesty one day would critique her weight gain the next. It's a cycle that doesn't stop, even when someone pleads for peace. And that is perhaps the most unsettling truth of all. The world claims to want authenticity, vulnerability, truth. Yet when Selena gave it to us, raw, trembling, bloody truth, we responded with more pressure, more noise. We wanted her to speak out, but only if she looked good doing it. We wanted her to heal, but not disappear. We wanted her pain, but not her silence. So what do we as a culture truly want from the people we idolize? Selena Gomez is not a flawless hero. She's not without mistakes, but her willingness to lay herself bare, to share not just the curated highlights, but the humiliating, deeply human lows, deserves more than shallow applause. It demands a deeper reflection on how we consume fame, how we fuel toxicity, and how quickly we forget that behind every glossy magazine cover is a beating heart barely holding on. She used her platform to become a voice for millions who suffer silently. From lupus warriors to people living with bipolar disorder, from women judged by their appearance to those feeling broken in the spotlight, Selena has, intentionally or not, become their representative. Not because she is the loudest or most perfect, but because she is still here. That, in itself, is an act of rebellion. Still breathing, still singing, still trying. We don't know how her story ends. Maybe there's another relapse. Maybe there's a comeback greater than the last. But one thing is certain, Selena Gomez is no longer a passive icon for public consumption. She is a survivor who chose to speak even when the world preferred her silent. And now we ask you, the audience, to reflect. Have we listened to her or merely watched her? Have we honored her struggle or used it as entertainment? Is Selena Gomez a cautionary tale or a symbol of defiance in a world that demands perfection? Perhaps the answer lies not in her next album or her next film, but in our next conversation about empathy, about the cost of fame, and about the price we ask others to pay, just to keep us entertained. There's something haunting about a life lived in fragments, stitched together by interviews, tabloid headlines, filtered photos, and applause that fades before the echo does. For Selena Gomez, that's all she's ever known. The camera turned on when she was just a child, and it never turned off. But beyond the fame, beyond the spotlight, there was a girl who simply wanted to be okay. She gave us her voice, long before it was ready. She gave us her face, even when it was tired, swollen, or breaking down. She gave us her secrets, the illness, the breakdowns, the therapy, the surgeries. And in return, the world applauded, then demanded more. What we saw was a pop star, a fashion icon, a heartbreak anthem. What we missed was a young woman slipping into hospital gowns while the world debated her weight. We missed the tears that weren't on stage, the fear that couldn't be captioned, the pain that wasn't poetic. And yet, through it all, she remained. Not unscathed, not untouched, but alive. Still standing, still singing. Today, when you hear her music or see her face on a screen, remember that it was never just performance. It was survival. Every lyric, every post, every trembling speech on a red carpet, it was her way of saying, I'm still here. And maybe that's the quiet legacy of Selena Gomez. Not the awards, not the albums, not the follower count, but the courage to fall apart in front of millions and still choose to come back. The bravery to disappear when the world wanted her present. The strength to reclaim her body, her mind, and her story. Some stories are never told, but now you know. The next time you see her smile, remember what it cost, and ask yourself, would you have survived what she did? Because she did. And that is the story behind the fame. That is the secret behind the star.